What's up, guys? It's Julian. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make deep house, minimal deep tech, whatever you want to call it, up the Stuss style, sort of deep house 2024 style. To go along this video, you can grab this full template at the top of the description on my website. Thanks for the support, guys, and let's get going. Now, the first thing with this style now is it's a bit faster, like between 130 and 135 BPM. I noticed when I was studying these tracks. First thing we got up here is this little lead. So we're in D minor. It's playing a pretty simple melody. It's one bar, and then it just keeps repeating, right? We got root, 9, 3, 6, 5, and then root, right? So pretty simple, not that many voices, but it just creates something catchy that repeats really well over this whole thing. The other thing you'll notice here is I've got a little bit of a swing on this. I've got this Logic swing, and then up in the corner, you can see I've actually turned down this percentage here. In case you didn't know, is basically the swing percentage. So I've got this swing on almost everything in here. However, it's only at 80% because of that swing lock. Then we got this little clavinet. Right, so just like a little stab, it just plays, again, so we're in D, this is going 5th to root note, and then here it just plays the root. Again, you can see we got that swing on there. So for this one, I'm using this clavinet. This is Ableton's tension, I'm pretty sure. I've got a little bit of this frequency shifter here, which is actually creating a bit of like a phaser. Right, you can hear that if you have like a really tiny amount of it. Then we have actually two echoes. One just spreads it out, right, and gives us some stereo width. And then this one is the echo that you really hear. And there's actually a little bit of compression on this, right? Kind of just brings out that delay. Then we have this little really subtle element. It's basically just this little string sound here, pretty simple. And then it's being high passed, and then I get this auto pan to make it sound sidechain to the kick. As far as the notes go, it's just same voices I showed you before. 6, 5, 3, and then root, right? So we're repeating a lot of the same voices and creating different things. So that's how you can make this really cohesive. Right, and then over here it just goes 6, 5. Also using like the string sample on this one, I think really gave it a lot more texture. Then we got our kick. Kick is simple. You really don't want to overprocess it. The only thing I've done here is I've just tuned it a bit to work with the bass line. I've got it at +1. And you can hear it just sits better. You'll notice if I start moving this around in pitch, it doesn't hit as well. And then that one pitch right here is just perfect. So you gotta find the right pitch for your kick. Then we got our bass line. So it might seem complicated when you're hearing it. It's honestly a pretty simple melody. I think with a lot of these tracks, it is like basically a melody with the bass line, right? So we're going root, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just back down. 6, 5, 4, 3. It's really just a simple resolving melody with a bit of rhythm to it, right? As you can see, we got some 16th notes and stuff, plus the Logic swing working together. Right, and then just making a groove with the kick. Now, as far as sound design, there's a few little tricks as well. Like, what we're starting with here is we got a saw wave. So we're taking something which is really harmonically rich, and then we're using a bandpass filter to cut it back. There's also a tiny bit of this like long envelope on that filter. And so we're getting just the low frequencies. Also bringing the resonance up helps with that. The thing is, if you do this like with a low pass filter, hear how it's like completely different? The bandpass still gives you all the bass you need if you put it in the right spot, but it's a bit more open as well. And when you don't have all that sub weighing it down, you can actually turn it up way louder. That's how they get these basses so loud in the mix. Right, it's a lot more in the sound design there. Plus, we're cutting even a little more sub with this EQ8. We're sidechaining this to the kick. And then we move down to some drums. I've got this 808 kit. Really simple, just the little shaker and then a little bit of closed hi-hat. And then I got this auto pan here, so it's like a bit bouncing off the kick. We got our clap. This is just like a 909 clap. However, I pitched it up and I made it shorter with the envelope here. Definitely a very underrated thing in Ableton is you can just use the amp envelope to shape your drums like this. I've also got this open hi-hat, which isn't even that like long, right? Like it's a really short, tight sample. It works with this groove really well. Right, these kind of grooves, you don't want that big open 909 hi-hat. You just want something short and punchy. We got some percussion on there as well. Right, you can see that all kind of talks to each other, this hi-hat and then the two snares. We have some more percussion here, like some live stuff. So it's basically all these live loops. Right, like some bongos. There's basically a bunch of live percussion. Some of these are high pass and auto pan, some are not. And then I've got them in this group together. So this is another thing that I think is new with this type of stuff. A lot of this type of minimal house didn't really have these kind of loops before, but now you add it. And it does give it like a really nice kind of energy because all this stuff is just energy. It's all in the high end. And that's really where the energy of the track exists. And then we've also got this ride to round the drums off. Right, you can hear that. So this is being pitched down a little bit. I've high passed it. And then we have this echo here. You can see I've got, basically, this is at two different times in the left and right. So it spreads it out and makes it a bit wider. And it really helps to make this sit in the track. We got some auto pan here, so it's just bouncing off the kick. And that's it for the drums. Then we just have a few more synths. We had this little stab. So what's happening here is we're basically doing this little jump from G and A sharp, creating that little minor chord, to this root minor chord here, right? D minor. It kind of goes with this other stab. It's like you have this one. Right, they kind of talk to each other. So for this one, as far as the actual sound goes, it's made with analog, one oscillator, it's a saw wave, low pass filter with an envelope, and a little bit of key tracking. For these kind of dubby chords, you're really going to spend a lot of time just dialing in the right key tracking setting, the right envelope setting. Like, it seems like a simple sound, but it's about the really fine details of where the resonance is, where the frequency is. All that is what you spend time on with this. A bit of reverb. There's already so much percussion, I didn't want any delay to add a bunch of extra, like, mid-range kind of repeats. High pass filter, and then an auto pan sidechain. And then we have this stab. Which you can hear just plays this basic D minor chord, just root, third, fifth, and then another root up top. The most basic D minor you could play. We got two saw oscillators. Then we have this bandpass filter, which has an envelope on it, which makes it do that wow you hear at the start. But then on top of that, we're actually just opening the filter up with some automation too. And even closing it and letting that like work with the envelope. And it just creates this morphing chord. We got a bit of vibrato, some chorus, some reverb. Again, with these, I think too much delay can kind of get in the way of the percussion when you have all that in the track. Bit of a high pass, and then the auto pan sidechain. Then we got a few little vocal stabs. So yeah, this is just some vocals that I found kind of warped a little bit, and they fit really well with this track. Right, like this was going like turn off, and I just grabbed a little piece of it, delay, auto pan, high pass. These can have a bit more delay too because they kind of just hit and then you hear it ring out. It's not so like constant. This one even is a bit obscured, right? Love me, love me. And then I chopped it a little bit to just put it on the grid a bit more and make it work with the drums. Bit of delay, reverb, auto pan, sidechain, high pass. And you're good to go. And that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, make sure to grab this template. It'll really help you take your minimal house like this to the next level. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.